and then we will restart the session by sharing a screen. And there we go. Let's spin myself here again. Close that down, slightly bigger. And going back to slide number 1. Okay, so Windows operating system, this is the final lesson, which is lesson number 8. Exam number 98349, understanding backup and recovery methods. So the objective domains is understanding local, network, and automated backup methods, restoring previous versions of files and folders, and configuring system recovery. The objective domain for the examination is to understand backup and recovery methods. The objective domain number is 6.1. We're on slide number 3, file backup and restore 1 of 3. So a backup is a properly secured copy of files and folders and is sometimes settings, usually saved in a compressed format. When we say compressed, we're referring to a small format, right? Because it has been compressed, all right? A backup is created so you can restore the files and the settings in the event of data loss from a hard drive failure, accidental erasure, or disk formatting or natural events. So if, for argument's sake, in a natural event, someone steals your computer, then I would assume you have a backup on the network drive. In the event that you formatted your disk, I would assume that you have created a backup, right? In an event where you have formatted your hard drive accidentally, then I would assume that you have created a backup on your computer, all right? Or on an external, or on a CD, or on any other device that allows you to restore the backup. So once a backup is created, a file is compressed, it's saved somewhere. In order to get the backup back, you need to restore the backup. So when you restore the backup, it will put your computer into that. Your computer will have the very same features as from this restore point that you've created from, right? So on slide number 4 is file backup and restore, 2 of 3. Windows Backup uses backup and restore utility to backup and recover files. You can do automatic backups by scheduling them to run daily, weekly, and monthly. You can restore backups on CD, internal disks, external hard drives, or on a network drive. That's the ones which I just explained to you. So then on Windows 7 devices, right? So if you had a Windows 7 operating system, your computer would have the feature called the file recovery. And it was designed to protect the computer in the event of a system failure by storing data on another medium, such as a hard drive, a network folder, or a CD drive. It can also back up a system image of a computer, including the applications. So if you've done the backup, and you've done the backup for the overall operating system, it would save your software, it would save the activation key of that operating system, and would save all the files that you had on that computer. On slide 6, this is just to show you guys the example of what backup and restore for Windows 7 would look like, right? On Windows 10 devices, if I would go to the start menu, clicking on the start button, I would go to, let's type in backup and restore, all right? Now you would know that on Windows 10 devices, it would look differently because the feature here, go to backup and restore for Windows 7. And there you see the environment for Windows 7, create a system image, create a system repair disk. So here's the option to set up the backup. So once you click there, it's gonna open up the starting Windows backup. I'm going to cancel that because it takes some time for that backup to create, because it's reading the overall operating system and all the files. There's an option to select another backup and restore files from. So if you selected that drive, then you would see this is basically for the network location, meaning the different location where you can restore the backup from or create a backup to. Now, because we don't have a network location, we won't be able to create a backup or restore backup from a network location. Just going to minimize that, go to the PowerPoint again, and on slide number 7. So if I were to go back to to my control panel. There we go. If I were to select creating a system image from DVD, from network location, or from hard drive, I don't want to create a backup. Create a system repair disk. Repair disk, remember, I'm going to show you that now when I get to that slide. And set up backup. When I set up the backup, there we go. It reads my CD drive, all right? Because that would be the only device that I can create a backup from, or the backup to, because even though I've selected that, it won't create the backup because there's no CD in. So I need a CD to be inserted into the CD drive, right? As it shows here, the volume E and the volume F, which is a CD and a hard drive, right? On slide number 8, restoring files. Again, if I go back there, this would be the same method if I wanted to restore my drive, right? So if I were to restore the drive, let me go to control panel. There should be an option that says select another backup or to restore files from. So if I were to select that, I would select one of the drives here as it's shown here in the presentation, all right? On slide number 9, configuring system recovery, there is no good time for a system to fail. But when it happens, you need to be ready. And the best way to be ready is to know the available recovery options and what steps to take before the problem occurs. However, the backup method for system and data recovery is to backup, and backup all the time. All right, so you must create backups every time, like once a month, create a backup. You never know when your computer is going to crash. Configuring a system restore. Windows 10 System Restore saves information about the drivers, registry settings, programs, and system files in the form of a restore point for drives with the system protection turned on. So in restore point, a restore point is a representation of the state of computer systems, files, and settings, meaning to restore your computer to a previous state. Like yesterday, your computer was acting normally. Today, it's not acting normal again. So today, your computer crashed. However, you can restore your computer by using a state. So the state the computer was in yesterday. Yesterday it was working, so I'm going to restore my computer to yesterday's state. That is what we would refer to. So if I were to restore my computer, let's go to a start menu and type in a restore point. And there you would see creating a restore point. So if I were to create a restore point, I'll click on system restore and then click on next. And then it's going to restore my computer to a specific date. So the 31st, my computer was working fine, and the 12th, the 19th, my computer was working fine. Because these are the two restore points I have on my computer, all right? I can restore my computer back to the states of the 31st and the 19th, all right? I'm gonna close that. So configuring a Windows 10 file recovery drive can provide enough of a boot environment to get back into the system to begin the troubleshooting process. It can be used to refresh or to reset a computer, restore a computer to a previously created restore point, recover a Windows installation from a specific system. Where are we now? So, yeah, recover Windows installation from a specific system image file automatically, fix startup problems, and perform advanced troubleshooting from the command prompt. So if you were to run into this, then the ideal way to restore your computer would be to go into the system restore point and selecting the restore point of selecting a state your computer was in when it was working fine, instead of just reinstalling your computer with a different or new operating system. So configuring file history is a feature in Windows 10 that is designed to keep personal files safe. It enables users who are not administrators to select an external drive or a folder on the network, and it automatically backs up and restores the personal files. So if I were to go to my file history, I would go to my start button and type in file history just to get into that setting. There you see the setting is restore your files with file history. All right. And as you can see, my file history has been turned off. So I'm going to go into configure file history settings. And there you can see the file history is off. Now, if I wanted to configure that, I would have to turn on the file history, and I needed to create a network drive in order to save my files to, or to restore my files from a network drive using file history. And there's the example again on the screen, configuring file history. On slide 14, performing recovery options using the Windows recovery. So the Windows recovery environment basically refers to creating a restore point using a CD, right? And let me just close this and open this drive, cancel that. So here's the option, creating a system repair disk. I would select your CD drive, and once you have the CD drive selected and you have a CD in there, you can create a disk. So it's going to say preparing files, blah, 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 and all those things, right? Once the CD is done, you can then use the system recovery disk by means of restoring your computer to the edition the computer's operating system was in by using that CD, right? So the Windows recovery environment, which is the Windows RE or Windows WinRE, can be used to repair common causes of unbootable operating systems. It's based on the Windows pre-installation environment. So a pre-installation environment is when you've purchased a computer, your computer would obviously be pre-installed, right, by the retailer, because they don't want you to go through that process of installing the Windows. So therefore, the Windows would be pre-installed. So it's based on the Windows pre-installation environment, and therefore you can do performing a recovery using the Windows recovery. Like the earlier question was when Regan asked the question, the recovery disk. So when his computer is performing backups, it's storing everything to the recovery hard drive, which is another hard drive. So if you were to restore your computer to the edition it was in, or to the factory state it was in, you would select that drive to reinstall your computer, but it would wipe out all the data that is installed on your computer. We've concluded with the lesson summary 1 of 4, 2 of 4. I'm going to share this information with you guys now. Let me just stop the share, and at the same time,